So if I were to pick all my favorite notes and put it all into one bottle, guys, it will be into this bottle of Tiziana Terenzi Ursa. Hey, what's going on, guys? Hunter here and welcome back to my channel. And if you are new, what I do is I make fragrance related content. So if you love fragrances, go and smash the subscribe button down below. But that's right, guys, we are going to be reviewing Ursa by Tiziana Terenzi. Now, like I mentioned in the intro of this video, if I were to pick most of my favorite notes and put it into the bottle, it will be this bottle here. This pretty much contains most of my favorite notes within perfumery, such as oud, leather, patchouli, tobacco, incense, vanilla, rum, and some resins as well. Man, this stuff here, like I said, pretty much when I got this bottle in, guys, upon initial first spray, I pretty much almost fell over. And this is actually my first introduction to the house of Tiziana Terenzi. And wow, after smelling this one, I can only imagine how good the other ones are as well. Now, this fragrance was actually sent out for review by the people over at So Avant-Garde, and if you haven't heard of them, they're actually a distributor for a lot of designer fragrances and a lot of niche fragrances. Now, I actually hooked you guys up with a discount code. Use code FragHunter15 for an additional 15% off of either Ursa or anything else from their website. So you pretty much purchase anything from the website and get additional 15% off with that code. So I'll leave their link down below for this fragrance. Definitely go ahead and check them out and check out their entire catalog, guys. They have a ton of fragrances and they also ship extremely fast. So let's go over some information about Ursa now. Ursa was actually launched in 2015, so it has been around for quite some time now. And the retail price, at least I think for the only bottle size they actually sell is the 100 ml like I have in hand. And it actually retails for $350, so it definitely is on the higher end of fragrances. And of course, Tiziana Terenzi is a niche house, so you are gonna obviously get the quality, you're gonna get the uniqueness and everything that comes with niche perfumery as well. Now, the perfumer behind this fragrance is actually Paolo Terenzi, who I believe is also the owner of Tiziana Terenzi, and of course the in-house perfumer as well. So I believe he makes all of his creations, kind of like what Rosa Dove does with Rosa Parfums, which I love that actually when the owner actually creates all of his fragrances as well. I just think it's more of like a personal touch to each creation, but yeah, that is the perfumer behind this fragrance. So let's go ahead and look at the packaging and presentation you will get with Tiziana Terenzi's Ursa now. So looking at the box, I gotta be honest with you guys, this is one of the best looking packagings I've seen in quite some time. Of course, you have the Tiziana Terenzi logo right up front, right there, since 1968. So they've been around for quite a long time. And of course, right here we have Ursa. And then this is an extrait de parfum, which is the highest of high when it comes to perfume oil. So yeah, this is extremely potent fragrance. And of course, Tiziana Terenzi on the top. On the back, you do have a Leonardo da Vinci quote that I can't read because it's in a different language and also made in Italy. Then on the bottom, you do have your barcode and batch code to authenticate your product and see when your product was actually produced. Now, you do pull the top off like so. Let me set that to the side. And you are greeted with a Tiziana Terenzi kind of a note here that pretty much talks about the house. And then also, if you guys didn't know, this is from the Luna collection, which I believe are all the white bottles, and just some more information as well within that card. And then it also does have a travel kind of a cap, and so you don't have to lug around that huge, heavy cap, which is nice that they include that. And of course, your fragrance sits housed right there. So yeah, that is the packaging and presentation with the box. Let's look at the bottle now. So after looking at that box, I'm not gonna expect anything less with the bottle, man. This bottle, just look at that cap. That has gotta be one of the best looking caps I've ever seen. Just so much art going on there. It's extremely nice. Right here, you do have like a leather kind of a plaque right there as well with Ursa Tiziana Terenzi. And this gorgeous white bottle. Now, the only gripe I have with this bottle is actually the material. It has like kind of like a fuzziness to it, not like a glass, which I don't think all of them are. I think just the white ones are. So that is the only thing. But then on the bottom, you do of course have your batch code and some information as well. Now this cap, guys, is so heavy, like extremely heavy. This has got to weigh like 1 or 2 pounds. Very, very high quality, nothing inside the cap. And then all the way around the atomizer, you do have the Tiziana Terenzi logo as well, and then nothing on top. But the cap does click into place very snug. In the top, you have dried fruits, rum, nutmeg, and elemi. Middle notes, you have patchouli, tobacco, incense, vetiver, and alabanum. And in the base, you have leather, oud, and vanilla. Now just look at that note breakdown, guys. That looks like a fragrance that I would pretty much make with all my favorite notes. Now, let's go ahead and spray this one and test the atomizer. All right, so let's get another one. Okay, so the atomizer is not the greatest. It's not pressurized, but it does spray out kind of decent, but nothing really to complain about. So guys, this fragrance, oh my goodness, I smell it in the air, man. This is just too good. All right, so in the opening of Ursa, guys, what I get is a very kind of barnyardy, natural smelling oud. And this is just the way I love my oud to be. It comes across very natural. I don't like when oud smells clean or anything like that, soapy, nothing like that, man. This is the way oud is supposed to smell like. They just perfected the note. Wow. If you guys aren't familiar with the note of oud and what it actually is, it's a very exotic wood known as agarwood that actually becomes infected with a fungus, and then it turns into, of course, oud, and it gives off that aroma. And if you guys don't know, oud's actually been around all the way back, dated to the Bible days. It's also known as aloes in the Bible. So if you didn't know that, now you do, and that's very, very interesting. And that's why it's actually one of my favorite notes of all time. Probably my favorite note if I were to actually think about it. I think oud is actually my favorite note. And yeah, they did a phenomenal job with Ursa and the oud, especially in the opening. Now also in the opening, you do have a very dusty quality. I think it's coming from, of course, the dried fruits and alongside the boozy rum, which works phenomenal alongside the oud, man. This is a very dark, dark fragrance. And to be honest with you guys, when I saw this white bottle and then smelled this white bottle is so deceiving. This should be in a black and gold bottle, man. I'm telling you right now, do not look at this fragrance and think, oh, it's gonna be a nice, bright, lively, kind of summer, spring fragrance. No, this bottle is deceiving, guys. I'm telling you right now, this is a very bold, dark, and daring composition. Now, this fragrance actually does remind me of another fragrance, just as far as like the DNA goes, and that fragrance is actually by Kilian Straight to Heaven. Now, I don't own a bottle of Straight to Heaven, but I actually own a clone of it, and I have smelled it in department stores such as Saks and stuff like that, so I am familiar with that fragrance, and I love Straight to Heaven. Now, this one is more of a dirtier oud, so it pretty much takes Straight to Heaven and just add oud to it, and that's what you're gonna get with this fragrance. And I actually prefer Ursa to Straight to Heaven just because of the added oud note in here, man. Yeah, so good, so dusty, so boozy, so oudy. Now, as Ursa actually starts to dry down, what actually comes out is the patchouli. Now, this is a patchouli bomb, guys. I would actually say this is more heavy on patchouli than oud because the patchouli lasts pretty much the entire life of the fragrance, rather than the oud pretty much starts to disappear after an hour or so from the opening, which is very unique because you would think oud is more of a base note, which actually is listed in the fragrance, but yeah, the patchouli just absolutely takes over the entire composition after the oud and stuff kind of starts to settle in the background. You can still kind of pick it up, but the patchouli, the incense, and tobacco absolutely take over the composition. And also what's interesting about this fragrance is in the opening, there's no citruses at all to be listed or smelled. So it's all just a very dark, complex fragrance. But that patchouli, guys, if you don't know, patchouli is probably my second favorite note. So of course, I'm gonna absolutely fall in love with this fragrance because it's very heavy on the oud in the opening and very heavy on the patchouli in the dry down. Now, the patchouli comes across very earthy, green, and just so good, man. If I were to like pretty much say what fragrance best represents the note of patchouli, this one is probably gonna be the one I suggest someone to smell because, man, this is just a patchouli bomb in the dry down. Of course, you do get the tobacco, and it is kind of like a cherry pipe tobacco alongside a slightly like smoky incense, but those are not the dominant players at all. The dominant notes in Ursa is the dried fruits, give it a nice dustiness, a slight booziness from the rum, the oud, of course, and the patchouli and tobacco. Those are the most dominant notes within this fragrance. This stuff is just so addicting to me, man. I'm always just smelling the bottle, spraying a test strip if I'm not wearing it through the day because this stuff is very strong. So when I want to smell this one, I'm always spraying it or going to my collection and smelling it. It's just so addictive. So as far as seasons, I would actually say would work best for this fragrance is 100% the cold months such as the fall and winter. Perfect fall fragrance because it's very woody, Very kind of earthy and barnyardy, works perfect for that. And also winter because it's very strong, very potent, being an extrait de parfum. And of course it all has dark notes, leather. It also does have kind of a creamy note in the dry down from vanilla, but that isn't like the very, very base of this fragrance. So yeah, perfect in the fall and winter, 100%. Stay away from the spring and summer with this one, which is unfortunate because for me, I got this fragrance as we're heading into like the spring and summer. So I'm only gonna be able to wear this one pretty much when I'm like just relaxing at home and just want to spray it on and just enjoy the artwork behind this one. But kind of stay away from wearing this one outside, especially in the hot heat. I also do want to mention this is not a crowd-pleasing fragrance by any means. As far as occasions go, do not wear this one to work or the office. Of course you can, like for me, I'll definitely wear this one to work, but it's not most suitable for like an office setting. You are 100% gonna offend someone that is sitting next to you, but wear whenever you want. But for me, the best situation is definitely more of like a special occasion, maybe dressing up. Maybe, I was almost gonna say maybe going on a date night, but probably not for like the first date, maybe like a second or third, once you know you're into fragrances and stuff. But if you wear this one on the first date, you might kind of scare them away. So stick away from the first date at least. But yeah, definitely more of a dressed up formal kind of fragrance. And it also does lean more on the mature side because it's very daring and also very unique, not youthful or juvenile by any means. To me, guys, this is just a very special exotic fragrance. Only the enthusiast will pretty much appreciate this stuff. Your average person like wearing like Bleu de Chanel, Sauvage, things like that, are not gonna appreciate this fragrance for the work of art that it actually is. Unless you of course have like a trained nose, you're into fragrances heavy like I am, then you're 100% gonna appreciate this one. Unless of course you don't like oud or patchouli or boozy or tobacco fragrances, then you probably won't. But just in general, guys, you have to pretty much have a trained nose to actually understand this fragrance and appreciate it for what it is, because it's very, very different and very daring. I believe all of Tiziana Terenzi fragrances are listed as unisex. Of course, I would say this one definitely leans on the more masculine side than feminine, just because of the notes and the way it comes across. This is 100% more of a masculine fragrance. But of course, if you're a woman and you like ouds, you like patchouli, you like of course the dried fruit, like dusty dried fruit nature of it, and maybe a little bit smoky and boozy, you can definitely wear this one as well. It is unisex at the end of the day, but if I were to choose, most likely it definitely leans on the more masculine side. So let's talk about the performance you're gonna get with Ursa. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this is an extrait de parfum, so you are gonna get, of course, over 25% oil concentration with this, which is very, very high. Unlike your eau de toilettes, eau de colognes, or even eau de parfums, which is way less than extrait de parfum. So the longevity with this stuff, guys, I get around like 12 hours on skin. This stuff does not go away from your skin. You're gonna have to shower, and actually when you're in the shower, scrub it off, because if you don't, it's gonna be on your skin even after a shower. So yeah, around 12 hours of longevity. Now for projection, I get around a good solid 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours of strong projection boosted off of the skin. So definitely above average overall with the performance. Now I do like to mention when I'm reviewing extrait de parfums is most of the time, not always, but most of the time, they project a little bit less than like your traditional EDTs or even EDPs, because what makes a fragrance project from the skin is the alcohol concentration. And of course with extraits, you have less alcohol and more oil concentration. So it won't project as much or as far, but it will project a little bit longer and of course last a lot longer as well. So you do have a sort of a little bit of a takeaway with extraits. But yeah, if you're looking for longevity and just performance in general, definitely want to stick with an extrait. But that's pretty much going to wrap up my review of Tiziana Terenzi Ursa. Let me know down below if you've actually tried either this fragrance in particular or anything else from the house, and which is your favorite, because the next one I'm very interested in is actually Orion. I think that's how you pronounce it, which is more of a crowd-pleasing fruity fragrance, so I definitely want to check that one out. But as usual, guys, leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch all you guys in the next upload. Take care, everybody.